What's up, everybody? My name is Steve JC. Most of you guys know me as Steve Facts. Today, we'll be talking about a discussion. Well, it's not a discussion. It's something that's been happening for centuries and centuries from now. And today, we had enough. No justice, no peace. And today, I have some great friends with me here to discuss about what's been going on. Without further ado, let's start the video. From here we have my friend from left to right. Introduce yourself.
My name is John McLeod. I'm a Fall 19 initiate of the Ahmaud Arbery chapter of 586 Fraternity Incorporated.
My name is Jordan Lee Dixon. I'm the Spring 19 initiate of the Idaho chapter of 586 Fraternity Incorporated.
My name is AJ Almanor. I'm a Spring 19 initiate of the Immortal Iota chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
My name is Joshua Norgus. I'm a Fall 19 initiate of the Immortal Iota chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
And my name is Steve Jean Charles. I'm from the Elite and the Town chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Fall 18. So, gentlemen, I want to say thank you all for coming. What I want to ask is, how do you feel of what's been going on? Like, when the video first surfaced, like, what was that emotion, that reaction that made you feel like, wow, that could have been you?
Anger. It's just, we see countless and countless, incidents of these things happening, and it's like, you think to yourself, this is not by accident. Like, what is going on here? It's just like, the same thing keeps happening to our people, and it's like, what else can we do? We can't fight the police, we can do what we're doing, speak out, protest, but we can't fight the police. We can't tell them, hey, take their guns away. That's not our power, but we have the power to use our voice. But it's like, what else can we do? Years ago we had Trayvon Martin, and now we have George Floyd, and it's just like, is not anybody seeing this? Like, there's nothing being done. Like, I wish there's more.
Just piggyback off what my brother said, definitely a sense of sadness. You really hate to see black bodies being put out in the media as toys to be thrown away by people or certain types of people who we decide to trust with our security to protect us and serve us. They also kill us whenever they see fit. It's a disease, I think. It's definitely a disease that has been passed down for generation to generation. And, it sucks because I wasn't as sad this year as I was for Trayvon Martin. And that's what really affected me the most, is because the first thing that really popped into my mind was, is it election year already? It seems as if whenever there will be a shift of power, or seems to be a shift of power in America, the black body, especially the black male body, seems to be a conduit for change. And it's wild because someone's life or a group of our lives need to be lost for us to come out and speak out. And then once we speak out, we riot, we protest, now we go vote. Someone else is going to use our anger, our frustration, our hurt for them to get into office. Right. I've seen this happen countless times. If you pay attention, it seems to always happen. They kill a bunch of black people in a small amount of time, so that, because eventually we're gonna film it, and you know what happens when it gets filmed? Outrage. Once outrage go out, change Once change comes around, now you find out what the black vote is gonna want. Now, okay, I'm just gonna run and cater to the black vote, but really do nothing for our community at all.
I'm simple. I don't like the idea of another group of men thinking they better than us or like have power over us because they bleed the same way we do. Yet they could kill us and have no repercussions that come after that. So I have a great disdain for them. If that makes sense. It's like I don't really fear nobody, but when you see a cop come around, it's like because they could kill you. They a gang, bro. Like at least with a gang on the street, you can shoot back. You don't want to shoot your own brothers and sisters, but at least you can shoot back. But with police, they could kill you and get away with it. And that's what I got a problem with. I don't like no man that bleeds the same way I do having power over me. So I got a problem with that. I don't like the police.
My initial reaction seeing the video, at first was like, why? You know, probably like a lot of other people. They first look at the video and like, why? And then I realized like, it just comes from ignorance, you know, just seeing how the cop just on top of brother's neck like that, and you're just looking at him like he's restrained. What else you need to do for you to know, like, to get up off his neck, or like, what sign were you looking for to let you know, like, hey, this guy's no longer mobilized or a threat, you know? And it's sad because, you know, as a black man, we walk around thinking, okay, there's some sort of security we have out there, you know what I mean? And to find out that this is what this security, the police, is doing to the citizens, especially men of color or women of color, it's just sad. That's it first make you question it, and then you realize how sad it is, you know?
What's wild is that we only have one group of people looking out for us, and that's the black woman. But
Sure.
black women are the most disrespected group in America. So, and don't get me wrong, I love black women, and I drive power from waking up to a black woman every day. But in the grand scheme of things, who's really looking out for the black man other than black women? Nobody cares about us. Nobody really cares about a black man's life being lost. Unless they see it on camera and their own guilt gets in the way of their prejudice. That's now when they start to care. But we've been telling you this for years. We've been telling you that we feel fear every time we walk out of our house. We've been telling you that we're hunted. We've been telling you that there are systems in place that allow things like that to happen. Imagine how many times that has happened that hasn't been filled.
Right.
We've been telling you this. Yet you say no. Yet you say relax. Everybody gets this and everybody does that. But you're right now, you see the whole world rising up for Breonna Taylor, for George Floyd, and the countless others. Where were they a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? When it still was happening. Where will they be a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, a decade from now, when it's still happening? It makes me angry sometimes, and I'm tired. I've gone out and protested before. This year I had enough. I decided I'm not gonna go protest because I was just exhausted.
And I was gonna add on, do you guys feel like the more we protest, the more we see on TV when it came to the riotings in other states compared to what happened to Rodney King? And this situation is tied too to Rodney King. Rodney King got beaten and killed. You see a lot of people in California, right? So, do you feel like as if protesting is enough?
No.
I feel like it's just a start, you know, protesting, rioting, I think it's just a start. But we're now beginning to see different avenues how we could ensue change, you know what I'm saying? So, it starts off with protesting, it starts off with rioting, and then our next step is now law, attacking what sort of laws we need to do so it can benefit not just one group of people, but minorities too, you know? Just being educated on the system, you know, I think that's what's most important too. I think that's the next step that people are beginning to realize and see. Instead of just making noise, let's make an impact now, you know?
And I feel like because of like the way we started with the protest and rioting, I mean, they're now just like, oh, you see, there's a whole outrage. Oh, so let's see what can we do, what can be done. I mean, as a result of all like the protests and stuff like that, I know there was a few things like done in the past, like lynching is now a hate crime, and they're trying to make the KKK illegal. There's been petitions, and there's a law for Breonna Taylor now. So
like a week ago, they stated that law.
Yet the officer,
No knock law.
yet the officer is still free.
So free. And my thing is, my problem with that, even though like things are happening, okay, they're making laws of that. So I'm like, but you have to kill somebody to make these laws.
Right.
You couldn't see that these things weren't, you know, happening in America. You had to see have cases of people dying, especially our people, to make these type of laws and stuff like that. And it's just so sad to see. It's sad.
What's so frustrating about it is to see people mock, mock the death of George Floyd. To see people who have pictures and videos and
now-
TikToks and things like
And
that.
now challenges, they made a George
Floyd challenge.
What?
I saw that image of a George Floyd challenge where Caucasians were just laying down and another Caucasian had their knee on their neck, and it was like trending around like TikTok, and I'm like,
Wow.
See, here's the thing.
Crazy.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you this. I have a TikTok. I don't use it. I'm gonna delete it because because TikTok is allowing stuff like that to happen. TikTok is allowing that to happen. If this was Facebook allows it too. If this is Instagram or Snapchat or something like Twitter, it will be banned.
Right.
You can't be allowed to blatantly disrespect someone who was a victim of injustice. Why is that okay? Why is that okay? Black people don't do that to them.
No.
Asians don't do that to them.
Minority.
No minority does that. Except for white people. Some white people, not all of them.
Right.
But those type of white people. Nobody else does that. Nobody else thinks that way. Why is it okay for them to be able to put that on a platform? Get views and get monetized for it. Get famous from it. I like what certain businesses are doing. They're suspending people, firing people, things like that. That are identified using that. But there's a sickness, there's a mindset that is taking place right now, and it's bigger than free speech. You can't just hide behind the First Amendment.
or the second.
Or the second. It's bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. There are things that are just they're just wrong at base level. Human level, they're just wrong. And you think it's funny. And that's the sickness that we're dealing with. The death of our bodies being laid out on the street is a joke. People who are not black are benefiting more from the hashtag of George Floyd, I can't breathe. They put that on a t-shirt, black people buy it, and it's not going back into our communities.
Right.
Yeah.
Profiting off of us.
And it's crazy because like most of the time I've seen social media and people post, this is how you're supposed to support your black businesses. No matter if you're in Miami or in Orlando, they tag those businesses, and I'm like, wow. But yet, a lot of people don't understand how powerful the black dollar is. If we look at the luxurious clothing that people buy, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Dolce & Gabbana, or Ralph Lauren, Versace, who buys it? Black people. Because they know that that black dollar is so powerful that it's worth of value, it's worth of making those type of businesses profitable. But yeah, we have employees who are black working $9 an hour. Hey, heck, $7.25, and they still can make a living. So I see as that the black dollar is so powerful. What if we snatch that black dollar and invest in ourselves? Invest it in where like we have our own businesses. We create our originality. Because the fact that we are powerful and we are valuable to those type of businesses, without us, there wouldn't be no business. Mm-hmm. So there's another question I want to ask. Has social media affected the situation to the point where not just the United States, but internationally, every other country is listening to this, hearing our voices? Do you feel like social media played that huge role?
Definitely, of course. You got other countries. You look at Paris. You look at New Zealand. Other countries are protesting for us because of what's been spread through the anger and the sadness spread through social media. They see that. They see the pain that we're going through. It's like, let's show some support. Because they, like John said, we all bleed the same. What's different? Our skin color, our heritage. Okay? At the end of the day, we're still human beings. It's just that I feel like social media did play that big role in just spreading our anger towards the situation.
Definitely. I 100% agree. I feel as if even if you're not white, or if you're not black, if you're protesting, you're also protesting against injustice, right? And this, if the black community gets exactly what it wants, it would be mute or it would be a waste of time if injustice in itself continues. Right. It's not just for the black community, although it's disproportionate towards our community. It's not just for the black community. It's against injustice. It's against mental illness. It's against prejudice. Prejudice to a degree where it becomes murderous and dangerous for people. That's what the world is protesting now, because all over the world, people are being oppressed. All over the world. Doesn't matter if they look like us or not. All over the world, people are being oppressed. They're poor. They're uneducated. Some of them are poor, some of them are uneducated. Those types of people are rising up and saying, hey, listen, this is an opportunity for y'all to listen to us. You can't keep stepping on our necks and getting away with it. It's not okay. I used to think that black people or people who are destroying their own communities, it's not cool. Like like you shouldn't be destroying your own communities. But also, it's not really black people destroying their communities. It's someone else going out there and inciting a riot, destroying the community, destroying the black people community, and then they're just filming the idiots who follow them. But also, there was a point that was made that it's not our communities. We don't own anything. Right? And if we do, we don't have a list of, not every black household should have a list of black owners, black businesses in their community. We don't know that. So if we go out there and we loot and we destroy, we don't know whose is who, because that's not being publicized. Black business isn't being publicized. We don't have access to that basic education. Well, on the other hand, everybody knows who owns what, how long they own it, things like that. Oh, Jimmy owns that store over there. John owns this over here. You know what I mean? It's like we don't have access to that type of luxury. So if we're out there, we're destroying and we're looting just so we can make a point, it's not our fault. It's not our fault. Because we built these businesses for you, and you still allowing our injustice to continue. Well, guess what? We're gonna unbuild it.
So I'm gonna add on to what you're saying, Jordan. So, but why does it take us to say, okay, I'm gonna buy this $500, $300 shirt from Versace or Louis Vuitton, but if it's like someone who has a black owned business, we get upset. Like, why it comes to the point where we get upset at our own people for their business, but we're so easy to just throw a debit card or cash at a business that's not ours.
Status.
And that's another thing, how social media plays both sides, like the good and bad. You know, how they promote these luxurious brands, but they never want to promote black businesses, you know? And as people, as us, we see those brands and we're thinking like, okay, if it's not this big brand, I want nothing else. And it's just both sides of the spectrum, how media could play both roles. And it's up to us to have that sort of education. We got to be educated and see like, okay, although this brand is just a name, there's other brands out there who we could support, put money, like have money come right back in our community instead of just throwing it away. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And also, let's be real. The whole world has been engineered to think that what's white is right. The whole world has been engineered to think that way. If it comes from someone white, or if it comes from someplace white, then it must be valuable. But if it comes from an art community, hey, you gonna give me a discount?
That's the first word that they'll say.
Why? Help your brother out. No, you don't ask Versace. You don't ask Louis Vuitton. You don't ask all those people. You don't ask them. You don't email their headquarters and be like, hey, can you give me a discount? No, you go in there, you splurge. Even if you spend $1,000 on one bag, you're gonna be rocking that one bag for the next year and a half. And you're gonna keep till income tax come back in. You're gonna do the same thing because you think that brand is worth more than my brand.
Right.
Status. Exactly.
And I feel like music plays another role into it.
100%.
Especially when it comes from us, because I'm a huge like music fan. Like I listen to like people like Outkast, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Goody Mob, Pac, Kendrick, Cole, JID, Black, and Biggie. You know, Wu-Tang Clan. You know, it's like they talk about like how they came from the ground up and how they seen struggle. And compared to other rappers that are here, like for example, Migos. Everybody wanted to hear Migos and Drake. But yet they talk about the products that we use. And it targets us as like, man, I want what Drake had. I want what Migos had. And that's why we splurge that money into those businesses, because music plays that role, because we listen to those artists that we love and hear and adore, but yet they money got it. They got the money to buy it. But yet we spending our last few dollars. That last few dollars could be in your savings account right now, or at least like save up or add on to the next rent or bill or something, or at least invest. And I feel like music plays that target. And I feel like it's a shame.
Our culture is very materialistic. I mean, if you listen to like some of the new artists now, hearing a song, I just bought me a Gucci, Balenciaga, all that stuff, and things like that. I mean, people use it as like look at my status now, I'm on top. You know, you might buy these brands and wear it out to the club one time, and then it stays in your closet. You know, one of my best friends, he bought some Balenciaga dress shoes to wear to prom. Paid $600. Other than that, he wore them like once or twice. Other than that, what is their use? People want to flaunt, like, hey, I got money, you know, when there's other things that's important. But music does play a big part, because if you listen to this like music that everybody loves nowadays, what are they talking about? Money, women,
and drugs,
basically.
And only for like temporary items. It's only temporary. That's the only thing about it too that we need to realize. It's only temporary.
The value depreciates the moment you take it out of that store.
Yeah.
So if you try to sell it back, you sell it for a fraction of the price.
Especially when you buy a vehicle off the lot. Once you leave the lot, you don't have no equity regarding to that vehicle, no depreciation.
Here's the thing. Here's the trick, right? A lot of these artists that talk so much about the Balenciagas and the Gucci, they may have bought one or two, but they walk into a store, basically depending on their celebrity, they're gonna get it for free, just so they can talk about it in their song, wear it somewhere. We're gonna see it, and then we're gonna rush to those stores and buy them and buy it. You think artists pay for anything? No. They get a lot of their stuff for free.
Yeah, sponsorship.
Yes, sponsorship. Even if it's a temporary sponsorship, doesn't even need to be on paper. Just be like, oh Drake, yo, you walk into a Gucci store. Drake, don't even look at that rack over there. I got this brand new blah 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 blah. Only made 500, not even out yet. I want you to wear it for you. I know you got a music video coming up. I want you to wear this right here. Boom. On us as a gift. You're gonna be appreciative, and you're gonna write their lyrics in the song, and now they're gonna use that as like a pseudo brand ambassador because they reach to millions of people.
Right.
It's math. And then most of those people are gonna try to get that shirt, get those things, because of vanity. So artists don't pay for anything. Those type of people, they don't pay for anything. And that's the trick about it. You think they're spending that money, they're not gonna spend their own money at all.
So, what can we do to regulate this situation? Not as because I've seen a lot of mixed views around the world about D9 not participating. All D9 does is stroll hard, but they don't do like action like this. And I remember like it's like it erupts me a lot because it's like, okay, I see we have a lot of people who are in D9 are in the law. Like the officer who shoved this Caucasian officer for pushing a lady. I found out she was an AKA. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So I was like, are we at that point where will we do something about it? Because we as D9, we know what our orgs represent, especially this one in particular. So do we feel like we have to like break that barrier for that to happen?
I mean, personally, what people are talking about now, they don't see us as much at the protests and everything, like doing it for the gram, doing it for social media, like taking pictures. Now, we don't necessarily have to do all that. While protesting now, rioting, whatever, it's cool for now. A lot of us, what we do need to do is be in the background, behind the lines, figuring out what we can do through legislation.
So social media likes to really like promote a lot of our stuff, or they like to sensationalize us, because if you cross in the D9, you look at, you get put on a pedestal, right? But a lot of things what people enjoy is our strolling and things like that, because it's spectacular when you see it and you want to be a part of it.
Entertainment.
Yes, entertainment. But what people don't see is our programming, is our community service. Our community service and our community so what people that's what people aren't, they're not sharing that on Twitter. And then they like to come back and say, where are you? Well, we've been out there. We've invited y'all out there. We've been in the communities giving food to the needy. We've been in the communities helping young children, young black girls and boys to learn something, certain skills that they don't have access to. We've been out there. Now, this is not just, once somebody gets killed, now we in the streets. We've been in the streets. We've been in these communities doing work. That's what we have to do. It's a requirement. For those people who don't understand, just because we cross D9 doesn't mean it's parties every day. It is a requirement for us to do community service, especially for our organization. So I don't listen to when people say, where is the D9? It's like, just scroll down our Instagram posts. Just follow us on social media. You're going to see where we are and where we've been. If you don't hear us now, it's because everybody else is so loud. You know what I mean? But we're not going to stop doing what we've been doing. Y'all are just catching up. Y'all are just doing it.
We're always working. We're always
working.
We're always working.
We work.
Always working.
And my last question to you guys, every individual here, if you're looking for 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and you guys have a son or daughter, what would the values or teachings that your parents or grandparents bestowed to you, what would you pass on to them? And how can they be that generation to affect what we've been trying to do for centuries? Because the reason why I say that, because I saw this video of 3 generation, 45-year-old, a 31-year-old, and a 16-year-old. The 31-year-old was telling the 16-year-old, you are the change. You got to find another way. So I'm asking each and every one by one, if you guys think 10, 15 years, you guys have a son, you guys have a daughter, what would you guys bestow your values or teachings to them based on what you've experienced and what your parents experienced, your grandparents experienced, or your great-great-grandparents? Anybody do that?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. I would say, when I do have a young one, making sure they're educated, observe before you observe before anything, just before you react, just if recently, I know I'm gonna butcher this, but recently my dad was telling me, if you go in life, there's 3 Ds you need to concentrate in. Oh my God, dignity in education, dignity in family, and there's one more D. I don't remember right now. But those 2 things, is making sure, family first, value education, and just make sure you stay observant of your surroundings. That's definitely what I would instill in my young ones, and making sure their surroundings are safe, staying educated, making sure you stay observant of your surroundings, and don't be afraid to speak your mind. then never think that you're wrong in terms of like always ask questions. You know, there's no wrong questions. You know, don't be afraid to learn more, to get open up your mind. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say speak up and hold your head high. You know, using your voice is everything. When you want to express concerns, express people who they might call you bold or whatever, but if you have something in your mind, say it, because you never know what your voice can do. Your voice can be a change, you know. And try to tap into your potential. Everybody has potential. To me, I don't feel like, oh, this person is smarter than another person. Everybody has the ability to be smart. Are they using their full potential to educate themselves and use all their knowledge? Not everybody does, and that's why people associate themselves. Oh, you're a genius. Oh, you're smart. Everybody is smart. You gotta put the potential. Like, I give them an example of my life. Like, I mean, I have so much potential. I'm 19 years old. I came to this fraternity 18 years old. I'm graduating in December with my bachelor's, and I'm president of a whole organization. You know, and I'm not done yet. You know, you can never limit yourself when what you're doing, whatever you're doing and whatever you love. You know, do it, love it, and go with it. And no matter what it is, you know, I'll be there to support.
I would tell my child, think for yourself, because everything you see on the internet, everything you're taught growing up in this suppressive education system, they lying to you. So you can read it, but you got to be able to think for yourself. You can learn what they want you to know. You got to be able to read your own history, do your own research. Also, like, everything you read on the internet, you can't believe. There's things like fake news. You think everything going on, like, because social media got things focused on one thing, doesn't mean like people aren't getting killed or suppressing. There's still slave trades going on.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy, but media is on America right now. But so think for yourself, and don't let anybody tell you they're better than you. Most likely, they might just be jealous of something that you got going on.
Right.
Because you're black, because your culture incites culture, and even their children. Like, they little Caucasian children, like, I like that black boy, I like that rapper. He's singing a rap song, and he has this disdain for you because his son likes your culture. Mm-hmm. So don't let anybody tell you that you're less than what you are, because you believe the same, you know, yeah.
And I agree with everything everyone just said, and I only have to say, I'm going to teach my kids. Culture for service, service for humanity.
Hey.
I know what he would be.
Or she.
For me personally, I would tell my son or daughter that it's okay to be scared. You know, not all things are blossoms and cherries. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm here, and your mother is here to guide you, and it's okay to talk to us, you know, because we know what we went through, and all we want is for you to understand. And yeah, there's gonna be bumps in the road, but those bumps are also lessons, and those lessons are teaching you to be a better version, or becoming a better version of yourself. Because not everyone's perfect. We all have flaws, we all have weaknesses, we all have strengths. But in this world, it's full of opportunities.
Right.
That doesn't mean there's going to be handouts. We're not going to give you handouts. But we want to let you know you have unlimited resources. Because everything's not given to you. You still got to work hard. Build yourself. And I would teach that to my son or daughter. So yeah. But fellas, thank you guys so much for coming here. I know you guys would have done anything else, but the fact that we could come together and talk about something like this is truly wonderful. loving, and I'm very, very honored and humbled for you guys to be here. God, I love y'all. I love y'all,
bro.
But everybody, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Continue to support and fight for a cause, fight for what's right, because you are a better version of yourself. You are the next generation. All you have to do is step up, speak out. So I'm Steve.
John.
Jordan.
AJ.
Joshua.
We're signing out. Go Mob.
Go,
Oh my.